Welcome to Calcast, your Create International podcast. God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 123. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen. Indonesia has 300 plus different languages, 1,000 different islands in that archipelago. There's people just scattered everywhere. You have a few Christians and you have a large number of Hindus and Buddhists, as well as the vast majority being Muslim. And so this is a very strategic place for our brother and his team to be working. But it was just so exciting, the stories of what God was doing. We had to bring it to you, our God Network News listeners.
Foreigners. It included my son and my wife and then the 6 short-termers, and we're all dressed in black. We're all kind of tired. It's kind of getting late in the afternoon, and I said, well, we're here to meet with the shaman, and I said his name again.
Again? Oh, boy.
Okay. And his face went sour, and then he went into the house, and he came out shortly after with a young man. And that young man, he explained, is the son of the shaman. And he got in my face and he said, and by the way, you never, ever say his name. And now all of you are going to have to walk out to the chief of the village, which was going to be another kilometer walking on these sharpened stones. Oh, no. And so we all groaned. And then, you know, as we were going, something happened. A woman was coming in to visit the shaman because she wanted prayer, and she was accompanied by many other family members. She was wearing black, but she was kind of looked from the city, not from that village. And she got out her handphone and she was like, oh yeah, let's take a selfie. And we're, whoa, you can't bring technology in her. So we knew that she wasn't from the village.
Oh boy.
But she grabbed all of the other 8 of the foreigners who were with me and said, oh, you don't have to go report to the chief. You can just come with me. We're going to see, the shaman. And so she took him away even before I could say anything. And this little kid's looking at me, and I said, so can I go report? And he said, yeah. Okay, well, just you and I'll go. So I walked the kilometer on the sharpened stones out to visit with the chief of the village. And of course, there was a fee involved. That was the main reason why you need to go out and visit the chief first. So I paid the fee. I registered the numbers of the passport, and then I walked all the way back again. At certain points, praising the Lord with phrases like, oh, Jesus, oh, God, oh, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
So I got back to the house, and of course I knew I was going to have to apologize for all the faux pas that I had committed, and so I went in and I apologized to him through the translator, who now I find out is the man who had walked up to us, and I had said his name to him, and who happens to be a policeman.
Oh, boy.
And he's from that area, but he left years ago, and he was bringing a friend there. And so he ends up being my translator. So everything I said to the shaman was through him, and he translated. And so we asked several questions. We asked him, where does his power come from? And he said it comes from various sources, but he doesn't reveal to strangers where his power comes from. Okay. And so other questions were asked, and then finally it boiled down to he asked us a question. He said, why did you come to visit? And so we translated it back, and he then asked, did you come to get prayed for by me? So he was looking to see if we wanted access to his power.
Right.
And so our guests simply said, no, actually, we came here to pray for you. And so when that got translated back to the shaman, at that moment, several people in the household started to show signs of manifesting spirits. Yeah, so like possession, that kind of a thing. And as that started to happen, he read the situation, and he said yes. He immediately he responded to that question faster than any other when he saw what was happening. And he said, yes, you can pray for me, but when you get back to where you came from, not here and not now. And he was very, very clear about the fact that we were not going to pray for him there. And then one of the man who was particularly gifted in healing ministry was asking further questions, and then he bought one of the black cloths that they make in that area, and so the shaman himself put it on his head. And he put it on his head, tied it in such a way as it was almost 2 feet or 3 feet above his head. He looked ridiculous. He looked like the Pope. Head. Yeah, like a cone head. That's right. I don't know if all the listeners will know what a cone head is, but it looked like the Pope. Big tall hat. And so we were all trying to keep from laughing, because you're not supposed to laugh in his house either. But we left, and then I had exchanged phone numbers with the policeman who had served as our translator, and so we met afterward. And when we met, he explained the significance of how that had been tied onto our friend's head.
If you enjoyed this episode, please consider donating to help us continue to bring exciting stories fresh from the field. Visit our website at godnetworknews.com and select the PayPal link on the right side of the page, or consider becoming a Patreon partner to receive access to more valuable materials exclusive to our members.